Hello everyone, welcome to our channel. Yes, you heard it right. The Occults have a YouTube channel now, and welcome. Over the years, I think Mark and I have been together now for
9 years.
9 years.
Approaching 10 years.
Yes, so we dated for about 8 years before we got married, yeah?
7, 8.
Yeah.
Somewhere about.
And over the years, we have obviously gone through phases of our relationship. So I think we all get to the point where it starts out and then it's like, when you guys argue or whatever, there's a bit of a scream fest, and then we graduated to having relationship reviews. And we're constantly just looking at healthier ways of relationshiping and lifing in general. And now that we're new parents, we're obviously also trying to see how we can be good parents to our children, as well as still being good partners to each other. So we decided to include AI in this one and ask ChatGPT to help us out. So essentially what we did was
I think we just tried to see what some of the what kind of questions and discussions couples should be having so as to continue to strengthen your bond and grow and all that cool stuff. Hopefully this works. Yeah.
Yeah.
So in essence, they like to continue to grow, to continue to form a bond, because like in essence you're both continuously changing.
Yeah.
You're both continuously becoming new people, and I think that's where a lot of relationships really ironically find their most difficult times, so to say. I think people get to a point where like someone grows in a certain way, and someone else, like another one of the partners, feels like they've stayed the same, and it's like, this person hasn't grown how I thought they'd grow, or they're very different now. So it gets a little weird. So to combat that, you gotta kind of keep reinventing yourselves and getting to know each other. And the best way to do that is to ask those, so to say, uncomfortable questions at times.
Yeah.
And to try to do it frequently enough. Like, you want to try to not get to a very intensive point and then want to jump into that kind of point where you're trying to get to that stuff, because now you're asking yourselves these questions in a very heated period and moment, and it's not always advantageous for some. So we got a couple of questions.
Yeah, so we went with the help of AI to tell us. So the prompt that we had put into ChatGPT was the 20 most important questions for you and your partner to discuss when at any point of your relationship, especially once kids are involved. So these questions range from financial questions, parenting, just love in general, that will keep your relationship strong. So what we are going to do is, for this episode, we're just going to choose 3. And I think it would also be nice because then you guys could also get to know us a little better.
Yeah, so we'll do 3, and then as time goes, we'll probably get into a couple more. So without any further ado...
just a disclaimer, we have not prepared for this. We asked ChatGPT for about, is it 1,000 or 100 questions?
I think it's 100.
Yeah, so we're just literally choosing randomly. We've not spoken about this before. We've not discussed it. It's totally candid and first time.
Yeah, so first random question. I'm just going to pick like the second one I see. What topics are most difficult for us to discuss?
Should I go first?
Yeah, you can go first.
I think the topics that are most difficult for us to discuss is our family members and their flaws. So what I mean by that is, obviously, when you're with someone or you're dating, you're married, whatever, once you meet their family members, different people might feel differently about different people. And I think, at least for me, or what I've noted, is that like both of us become super sensitive when anyone else has something negative to say about anyone else's family member, unless they agree. So, me personally, I know that I do get defensive if Mark is like, hey, I noticed that like your cousin, for example, is untrustworthy, so you must look out for that. And I think we all have those cousins. And because I'm like, nah, I grew up with this person, I feel like he prejudges my family members or my friends. So I think for me, I've noticed that that's like a tough topic for us to discuss. Same with you. For example, there are some friends. When I met this man, he had many female friends. He even had his radio show was Mark and his Angels.
That's not true.
It is.
That is
It
not
is.
true.
Your show's name was Mark and his Angels.
My show was called The Afternoon Drive.
But they were speaking about
One
angels.
of the station managers made a joke about, oh, this looks like it's Mark and his Angels.
Because he just
I never named that the
he
show.
had a whole female, like everybody there besides him was a woman basically. But long story short, he had a lot of female friends, and they were obviously ones like, ladies, I think, the person doesn't have to say much. And he still has female friends from him that come from him from the past, with him from the past, where I didn't know him and they knew him, and then I became really good friends with them. So they became like a couple friend, but they were just ones where you like, when? And like this person will give you like compliments and stuff, but those backhanded ones. Well, yeah, you're getting nice and chubby now. At least you have an ass, stuff like that. So, and then you try to tell your person, I don't think this one is the one. Really, I actually think that, I don't know if people do this, but like they become friends with someone, and if they think they're a good man, they save them for later. Just in case, like an emergency husband or something. And I feel like a lot of his female friends made him that. So I had to tell him that I don't mess with this person. I don't mess with that person. I don't think you guys should be friends. And at that time, they didn't do anything to him. They've been friends before, and he didn't see anything wrong. So I could see that he became really defensive.
I just think at the time, for that little point, in my defense, like I think I'm in entertainment. I'm in media, and I was working in radio at the time. We're now returning to the podcast space, so full circle. That's cool. But I still DJ. I was DJing back then, and a lot of that industry requires you to have really, like, at least open, good, friendly energy. And even if you're not really doing anything, you're not trying to let anything on, you're not trying to encourage anything, but you're not gonna go and just gut people and look, I'm not speaking to you anymore.
No, but
particularly
I didn't say
if they've not
I was
done
just
anything.
saying, Sheba. Bali Kohawa.
That's fine, because it was always it's a strange perspective to be in, but there's always kind of, if there's a situation like she's just explained, there's always a bit of an advantage in being a dude, because most women or girls are not gonna say anything or do anything. So I actually have to be the one that starts something for there to be something. And I never really started anything, and nothing really ever happened, so it just ended up being a non-existent kind of situation.
Yeah, you see,
So-
when I say this is a difficult topic, already came in my defense.
Nah,
But yeah.
I just wanted to explain like where the reasoning was. But yeah, that is one of the more difficult kind of spaces to navigate. There are probably others, but I think it's one we can revisit again. I think
Yeah.
I just want to ponder on some of that a bit more. And then we can revisit that again. I think it's got
Yeah.
multiple layers to it.
Yeah.
The baby's doing the most right now. Look at him.
Cover.
The baby is doing the most.
Wow.
I'm gonna go into the
Wait,
second
baby, you didn't
question.
tell us your tough question.
No,
What
that's what I was
tough
saying.
topic?
There's layers to it. Like
Oh, okay, cool.
I think because like one question will take up the entire.
Okay, cool.
What role does humor play in our communication? I think I can go first. That's always a work in progress. I think it'll always depend on the kind of people you are, but I think our communication is, if it's something that is purposefully supposed to be funny, then of course there are humor type aspects to it. But if there's something serious, usually it's best there's no humor type of aspects to it, because for the people that we are, as far as I'm aware, it doesn't really go well. There's different levels of sensitivity, and for me, like, it can strike a nerve and then 10 to 20, 30 seconds.
Yay! What
Life-
are you saying?
Life goes on, but if it's communicated with too much humor and it's something serious for her, maybe it might not land that way. So, what role does humor play in the communication? For serious things, no.
I actually think you're a little more sensitive than what I am. For me, I think sometimes you think that I make everything a joke. I think I'm the funnier one in the relationship, personally. And I think you take things super seriously. Yeah, I think you take
He's
things
like,
like
nah.
super seriously. Or the reason why I'm a bit sensitive the way you say it is because I think when it comes to humor, especially with sensitive things, tone is very important. So you must have, a humorous tone. Humorous tone to indicate that, I'm making a joke. So it depends on tone really for me. But yeah, if anyone's making jokes in this family, it's me. I'm the little jokester. So I think humor does play a big role. Okay, what do you want to do?
He wants to do everything. He's part of the episode, like, just because I know other couples, they have okoko, or they have mama, ne, auntie, there's someone in the evenings or in the daytimes that's there to step in. But we gotta constantly, he's always like, you'll see one look around because he's always doing stuff. So
Yeah.
even now he's trying to figure out how to get into the spot and into the zone.
Well,
So-
we are going to see family soon. We do stay away from family, like we don't have any family around us. So we always
That's the
grateful.
story of most people, pardon the
hey.
interjection, from Cape Town. Most, particularly people who are black from Cape Town, like not from Cape Town, tend to have that problem whereby a lot of the time family is not close by, and it does happen. But yeah, okay, so concluding remarks, have you rounded up?
Yeah,
The point
I think
that
humor
humor
does
plays.
play a big role
Do you
in
want to
our.
pick another randomized question?
I think humor does play a big role, at least for me, in the relationship. I think I'm pretty funny, and I think he's always laughing because of me. At some point, I thought I was so funny. I wanted to do stand up. That's not out the window completely. So we'll see. Watch the space. Cool. So I'm gonna close my eyes and then just pick one wherever it lands. What's our strategy for debt management? I think I'll go first with this one. We have very different. Yes. What's our strategy for debt management? Is it? Okay. Tell them, what is our strategy?
Got the
Yeah. So I think we have very different strategies, and I'm happy that we've managed to reach like a, I guess, a single lane consensus. I think for me, I'm not really too educated on this topic, I must say. Like, I've done some light reading here and there, but I think when it comes to money matters and how we handle our debt, he's kind of the guy that does that, because I just feel like he manages it better. For me, I can go on TikTok and everybody says, take your salary to pay off all your debt. I would do it. I literally said, baby, you know what, this is what we're gonna do. And then he'd be like, okay, these are the pros, these are the cons. So I think in that realm, I know that he is the more learned party. So I think we have a good vibe going. Currently, how do we
I think the strategy is to have a key understanding of good debt and bad debt. No debt. I'm sure a lot of y'all, we're presuming a lot of adults are watching this. But even young folks, it's important, especially when you're young. These are the kind of things you want to get in there with. But there's good debt, there's bad debt, and you want to, so to say, have a healthy balance of the good debt and reduce a lot of the bad debt. So in theory, you also want to look at the kind of lifestyles you live as another part of the equation, because you're also keeping in mind your credit score. So ultimately, it's like, okay, as a family unit, what are things we need, what are things we want? We kind of keep it basic, actually. Things you need, things you want, things you need and want within a 6-month frame, 12-month frame, 3 to 5 year frame, and maybe like a 10-year frame. And then obviously the ones that are more solid in stone are the more immediate, to the next week, the next month, the next 3 months, 6 months to a year. And then you look at what debt is being taken out, so to say, or what debt is being incurred, why it's being incurred, should it be incurred, and if not, getting rid of that, or not taking out the debt to begin off with. For example, like
clothing accounts.
Clothing accounts are really, we love clothes. It's been a big trap. It's been a huge trap. But
especially on my side, I feel more on my side than on your side. For me, guys, I think I got trapped. Like, in university, they like open up a small clothing account, or when you just start working, and then obviously it grows, and it grows. So I also thought, like, when they said you get vouchers and stuff, like that one was the thing that like got me. But yeah, clothing accounts for me, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, so clothing accounts are definitely one of those. You should also be careful of like the kind of cell phone accounts you decide to take on. For example, let's say, just even a random example, you can actually get a really good TV that you use in your home at, say, maybe 4,000-5,000 rand, right? But like, if your affordability isn't too good, should you be taking debt and paying that off a long period of time?
Just because it's Black Friday doesn't mean you need a 70-inch
Exactly.
TV.
So just to sum it up, I think without getting too deep in the pocket, because but I don't know how much there is clothing debt. But it's
we're working on it. Yeah,
it's been reduced. Like I won't even say we're working on it.
For me, I want to work. The reason why I'm saying we're working on it is because I want it to be on zero. Like, I hate the fact that I started clothing debt, if that makes sense. Like, after I learned about like good debt versus bad debt, like I wait, like looking back now.
Investment.
Yeah, exactly. What is it called? Not MMP. You corrected me. 3,000 to 300. Where you can invest in like multiple.
Oh, like S&P 500 and
500.
And
like if I knew.
But even that, you don't actually always have to take debt to.
No, but I wouldn't have taken debt. I'm just looking at like how over the years like the monthly repayments have reduced and stuff. So like every month when I'm still paying off those pair of jeans, I'm thinking, it's small, but it could add up in the long run.
Oh no, it definitely does add up.
Yeah.
Because you keep buying, and
things go in season, out of season, in season, out of season.
So
I think the
it's a
key
trap.
for me
Cars.
was
it's a
to.
trap.
I mean, not really. Depends on what you.
No,
using the
people
car
like
for.
keep getting cars. Like,
yeah.
if you don't need to get a car where the installment is 14,000 rand a month, insurance is 3,500 rand a month, that's 17,500, not
Unless you can
including
afford it.
petrol. Petrol is 2.5. What's affording, like
Depending on your
if
lifestyle,
you're earning
like for,
50k, getting and 20k is going to a car, and
for me, I think it depends on what your rich life looks like. So but what I'm saying is you might not find that valuable, but I might, because this is what I've been working towards. This is what truly makes me happy. Do you get what I mean? Some people take expensive trips. You could go to Paris and then someone would be like, oh, this is a waste of money, you should have bought property. But no, this is my rich life. This is what makes me the happiest. So invest in where it makes you the happiest. And obviously, categorize in terms of there being money for investment or there being money for savings. But what I'm saying is your wants might not be someone else's wants. Remember we spoke about 5-10 years more immediate. That could be like a 5-year thing where you're like, I want to pay off all the bad debt I have because I really want this car. And to you, that's a good car, and that's technically good debt because it's part of your rich life. That's, or at least that's my take on it. There are things that you actually want to spend money on, and save for those things that you want to spend money on. If you want to travel, you can do that. If you want a specific car, because I know of people where, for example, in my family, people didn't really have cars like that. I think my mom only got a car when I was well into high school. So for her, driving a RAV4 has been her lifelong dream, and I don't see why you can't make that happen for yourself.
yeah, but if you can afford it, I'm saying you earn 50, you're spending 20k on a car.
Maybe you paid your house off, or you staying with someone or whatever. That's why I'm saying the priorities for people are different.
I suppose.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, and I think
Just consider your vibes and
Yeah.
rethink it, and make sure doesn't cause friction in the relationship. For some people, mixing the money is all good. For some people, separate the money is all good.
The other day I was actually talking to someone at work, and they had a really good insight in terms of that. They say some people, it's okay, cool, you have your bank account, I have my bank account, and then we have a central bank account where we deposit into things like rent, food, savings for the couple, so you have a couple's bank account as well, and that seems to work really well because it remains it keeps people accountable and all of those good things. So I think that's
coming to an episode near you, episode 2. Would you have a joint bank account? We'll
let us
talk about
know.
that then. Let us know. 2, also, please let us know about the other stuff we discussed and other questions you think are burning. Alright, so perhaps we'll discuss that in the next episode. Would you have a joint bank account? Would you not have a joint bank account? Pros, cons, fights, no fights, peace,
if you
joy.
do have one, let us know how that's going.
Yeah, do please holler in the comment section of whatever social media, whatever it is. And thanks for joining us. It's been a pleasure having y'all. Definitely more uncomfortable questions coming up.
Say
In
bye,
episodes
Nina.
to come. So from the calls,
Bye.